Sorry about that, guys. It seemed like we had some technical difficulties. I don't know what the heck happened there. Just make sure my sound is good. Looks good on my end. Uh, Guys, you can say what you want here. uh,
Gremlins.
Gremlins. I don't know. I think a train got in a train accident over here or something. I don't know what's going on. But we seem to be okay right now. We got 7 people back in the chat. Thank you for sticking with us, guys. Appreciate that. Aaron, you want to continue? You want to start start with Mick Ferrari again?
Yeah. I was breaking down Mick Ferrari's TT from NWL 173, and the title of that is One Wild Night in Ozone Park. So we basically have Mick Ferrari. He's just got beef with everyone. He's got beef with the industry, Rod Camino, Dave Wasilewski, and Waz. He's got beef with Stevie Vertigo. And then we cap it off with Mick Ferrari in a confrontation with Colonel Doom and Nivek Largo, who is currently the NWL Hardcore Champion. And I kind of like this part. I've been enjoying a little bit more with the TTs where a wrestler will write the role of another wrestler into their TT. And I thought Mick Ferrari did a great job writing the part of Nivek Largo in his most recent TT. Nivek Largo hits Mick Ferrari and Colonel Doom with the mean streak, and that kind of sets up our big showdown for Clash of Champions 20 for the hardcore title. And I think we're live right now. If you guys want to keep those faces and heels coming from across the IWAR network, the top faces and the top heels from each league. And then I'm going to move on to the IWAR network's #1 overall draft pick, the Hebrew Hammer, Lance Horowitz. And this is a guy, he's been a former NWL League champion. He's been on the title page a couple of times. And of course, he's the son of legendary wrestling jobber Barry Horowitz. And don't get me wrong, I don't admire Lance's position trying to follow in Barry Horowitz's shoe steps. But I mean, he's doing a pretty good job winning the league title and being the #1 overall pick.
Ow.
But I think in this most recent TT by Lance Horowitz, we're seeing Lance kind of come at a crossroads. You know, he doesn't know where to go next in the NWL. He's standing on some sand dunes when all of a sudden a figure approaches, and it's his father, Barry Horowitz. And his dad tells him, "Look, Lance, you can't give up now. You know, I wasn't much of a wrestler, but I had a really good haircut," is what Barry tells Lance. And he says, "Jesus, son, look at me, a guy that barely won a match back in my day, but I did have a sweet haircut. But that's not the point. The point is that if you don't believe, I do, and I'm coming with you to Clash of Champions 20. And then Barry Horowitz proceeds to slap the shit out of his son.
Deserves it.
Trying to talk some sense into him. And Lance says, you know what, Dad? I am going to go to Clash of Champions. I'm going to win the Fatal 4-Way match, and I'm going to get myself a shot at the Young Lions title. The TT ends with Barry Horowitz giving a sheepish grin to the camera. And I think that's how we know that shit's about to go down at Clash of Champions 20. Am I right, boys?
I agree.
Correct.
So then if we move on, we've got a TT from the Gun Collection, who's comprised of the California Gunslinger, his brother, the Shotgun Kid, and then we've got Area Gunpowder as well. And they're hyping up California Gunslinger's Texas Death Match against Lone Star Redneck at Clash of Champions 20. The Gun Collection, they're basically a bunch of Western movie actors. They're a family, and they're bringing their fighting skills to the NWL. They've been kicking ass left and right. And then in the end, we get teased the showdown between the sister of the family, Area Gunpowder. She's going to be going up against Shiloh Wallace of the Gene Co faction at Clash of Champions 20. And then we also get a note that Area Gunpowder is set to star in a new movie coming out. It's going to be a horror movie. It's called Nightfall. So we got Area she could be a big star one day on the big screen, as well as potentially maybe a future women's champion in the IWAR network, I'd say.
She might get a role with Tracy Lords one day.
Oh, boy.
She might get a role with Barry Horowitz one day. Sorry, what's that, Matt?
I was gonna say, speaking of promos, some fantastic promo work. There's just one promo we're having a problem with is whoever runs, is it DSR?
Yeah, DSR.
It's like a clown type picture / gas station / I don't know, bar, Castle Grayskull type bar.
This last one says, "Did you miss us? Get ready to burn, MF." So it's very cryptic, and I'm not quite sure who's writing these TTs, but I'm very curious.
I don't know, but probably I don't know who it is.
Sexually transmitted disease. Warning.
So, anyways.
So then up next we have a newcomer to the NWL, Mark Justice. He's kind of a mysterious figure. I think he's going to do big things in the NWL. He came through with a big TT. He had a lot of good matches this past cycle, so I think we're going to see big things from Mark Justice moving forward. Up next, we have a couple TTs from the previously mentioned Society of Salvation stable. We've got Mike Dynasty, who's been a stalwart in the NWL. He's experienced a lot of success. He's been a big-time NWL player. He's recently joined the SOS stable. He's the Central Plains champ. He came up with a new slogan this cycle, which I really liked. And he goes, "It ain't you, it's me," which I think is pretty typical of Mike Dynasty.
I don't think so.
Well, he's your draft pick, so I mean.
Yeah, he's gonna do big things. He's gonna do big things.
You're gonna have to deal with that slogan for the next foreseeable future. But he's basically saying that he doesn't really get along with his SOS stablemates, but when it comes down to business, he's gonna take care of business. He's keeping an eye on Stevie Vertigo and Rhett Grady in the upcoming Clash of Champions 20 Young Lions title match. But he doesn't actually care about titles. He just wants to dominate. And I think that might have been Prophet that said that one, actually. So he's got a stablemate named Prophet. He's got Requiem as well. And, I think these guys got dispersed a little bit in the IWAR draft, but I think we're going to get some pretty solid production from those guys moving forward wherever they end up. Up next, we've got the Gene Co faction, Zydrate, Nivik Largo, and Shiloh Wallace. They're taking part in a 6-man tag match. They've been having a little bit of friction the last few weeks, but throughout this tag match, they mend their differences and they come out Gene Co being stronger than ever. Of course, Zydrate and Nivik Largo are going to be going up against Rod Camino and Dave Wasilowski for the newly reinstated Young Lions Tag Team Championships at Clash of Champions 20. The Gene Co faction, I think they were taking number 3 overall, or they were the number 3 pick by the BRL, so that's going to be a solid pick for the BRL moving forward. Up next, we've got the Syndicate. Stevie Vertigo is ending the Battle Royal. Stevie Vertigo wins the Battle Royal against Mick Ferrari. He nails him with several Tombstone Pile Drivers onto the Young Lions Championship. Stevie and Mick have kind of had a long-running feud, so that he's kind of taken some shots at him there. And then he goes on to insult Rhett Grady quite a bit. Rhett and Stevie are going to be going head-to-head for the Young Lions Championship at Clash of Champions 20. And then Stevie goes to hit a pile driver on Rhett's 80-year-old Aunt Betsy, being the dastardly devil that he is, but Rhett and his brother Ro save their Aunt Betsy just in time from getting annihilated by a Tombstone Pile Driver. And then Stevie's stablemates, Toa Noah and the Samoan Assassin, they kind of came into the NWL guns a-blazing, won a bunch of tag team titles, and then they've kind of fallen off the title page lately. So Stevie's kind of laying into them in this next TT. and he's basically sending them off to the island of Samoa to kind of get their heads straight. And I think we're going to see Toa Noa and Samoan Assassin come back stronger than ever after their journey to the island. So we'll have to see how that shakes down. And then and then of course we've got the Rhett Grady promo. We have Stevie Vertigo kind of causing some chaos in the ring, doing his usual thing, beating guys down with baseball bats. And then we see Country Hammer Rhett Grady sprint down to the ring and confront Stevie Vertigo. There's a match kind of in the works between Stevie Vertigo and Rhett Grady. They're going to be fighting on Rhett's family ranch, the Grady Ranch, somewhere down the road.
Yes.
It's going to be the Grady Rules match, and then the winner of the Grady Rules match is actually going to become the new owner of the Grady Ranch, which is located in Beaver County, Pennsylvania. So that we've kind of had a pretty big build up to that, and we'll have to see how that one shakes down as the cycles go on.
Do we know if former Red Sox manager Greg Little will be there to be the guest referee?
I have a suspicion that he will be.
Those faithful Grady's. Did Jeff get on yet?
No.
Damn it. Jeff, give us your Skype name. All right, that's fine. I will say also, NWL-wise, I'm appreciative Andrew McMillan has brought in Big Money Bonnie Banks. As always, we're looking for more women in the game. If you run one wrestler, two wrestler in NWL and have an extra, create a female wrestler, or if you're in the IWAR in general, it helps beef up our ranks, so to speak. I did have a question. What is Colonel Doom's ultimate end game? He seems to be all over the place.
That's true, yeah. I mean, Colonel Doom, a couple times he's implied that he's found Mick Ferrari in a field full of sheep, and he kind of leaves it up to the imagination as to what Mick is actually doing in that field of sheep. I mean, I could go down that rabbit hole with Colonel Doom, but I think we better leave it at that for now.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
He's had a bit of a brewing feud with Lance Horowitz as well, so we could see that come to a head before Lance moves on to greener pastures as the #1 pick of the IWL.
Yes. Oh, did we just lose audio?
I'm still here. Did we lose Aaron?
I'm here.
Okay, we're all here.
I think.
Don't you love a live show?
It sounded like you were gonna say something else, and I was waiting for that. What was it? The the guy from SNL. He would finish sentences and just leave them half hanging. You know what I mean by that? No, don't. Well, Grady Sizemore. Oh, cool. Grady Sizemore, good call with the Gradys.
Is Grady Sizemore an official member of the Grady family, or?
He's not dead.
No?
I'm a big fan of Grady from Sanford and Son as well, Leon. So
I figured that.
It's my favorite show of all time. my dad is Fred Sanford.
Is he really?
Yes. I grew up with broken cars and all types of shit in my backyard. So he used to do aluminum collecting. So I used to take me and we used to drive around the neighborhood and going through people's garbage to get scrap metal.
Wow.
And, I'm pretty sure he found my Nintendo in the garbage as well. So
hey,
it's a real thing.
Put hair in your chest.
It does.
Yes, NWL-wise, I do want to reiterate a couple things when it comes to promos. In case anyone's wondering, when we book our events, like either Futurescape or Clash of Champions, you are 100% more likely to be on the show if you do promos. If you don't do promos, you're still active, that's fine. But these shows are all a reflection of our way of rewarding promos and trash talk and good effort. So if you're saying, I want to be on, you don't have to write a huge page-long thing. It can be a few lines. Just show us some effort. Give us some something to work with for your character, and we'll go from there. So we wanted to mention that.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious because we see a couple of guys sort of dominating the title page, then we don't see any TT from those guys. So I think I like to see that balance. Like everyone's gunning for the Young Lions Championship or the Hardcore Championship or the Young Lions Tag Team Championship, but the only way to get in the mix there is by dropping at least a few lines of TT regularly.
And a good example, our TV champion, Frosty McFreeze, which for any of you who have watched A&E's biographies, I actually just watched the Steve Austin one and finished off the other day, and he mentioned that one of the names they creative pitched to him was Frosty McFreeze as a heel, and he said no.
Of course not. It's ridiculous.
Shady Shark, El Mascarado.
I think Ice Dagger was another one that he got pitched.
Yeah, El Tigre, Fabulous Harry Hurt. Everyone's like, Fabulous Harry Hurt. Who is this dude? Like Tomax Firefly. Come on, man. Give us something to work with. We want to hear from you. If you're listening, we want more. There's and I will say the next pay-per-view, Clash Champions, will be in the next issue. It's already online, but it is going to be a lot of fun and setting up a lot of fun things. And we're already booking Futurescape. So again, if you want to be on these shows, it helps if you actually give us something to work with. So cut a promo. I don't care if it's 2 lines or if it's whatever, as long as it gives us something to work with.
And I think over the next few cycles too, we're going to start to see some NWL mainstays start to move on as they graduate. So it could be a good opportunity for new wrestlers to kind of fill those slots as guys start to move onto the BRL or to the IWL.
Right. It brings up a good point we mentioned, we were talking about this earlier, is reminding people that just because you don't get into a certain event or a certain match or qualifying match doesn't mean we're writing your character off. Often we have longer term arcs and shorter term arcs, and we might not have you win something this time, but next time we have something big for you. So just know that if you write to us and say, hey, I want to be involved in this, we listen to that and we try to work out things and make you happy if we can. So all you guys who are in there competing, and if you're listening and thinking, hey, how can I get more attention, more of this, just put promos in there and contact us. We'd love to hear from you guys.
I think communication is the key, especially if you're interested in being on a pay-per-view. Sometimes I can't read people's minds, and I don't know if they want to be on a show or not. So be on the
not trying enough.
Even sometimes it's like we'll have feuds in the IWL. I'm like, should I put this match on the pay-per-view or not? Because I'm not sure what they're looking for. So if you want to be on a pay-per-view, like we have Starrcade coming up at the biggest show of the year, please shoot us a line. Let myself know, let Nuke know, let Jeremy know, let somebody know that, hey, I want this match on the pay-per-view, and we'll get that done for you. Just tell us. It's real simple. Just tell us. I think this pay-per-view I had like 7, but I'm looking at some of these feuds that we have going on in the IWL. I'm like, should I put this on the show, or are they working towards something else? It's unclear. So I usually leave those matches off the pay-per-view. But Starrcade is coming up, so if we have 15 matches on the card, that's great. I'll take it. So everyone should be angling towards Starrcade anyway. At this point, it is the biggest pay-per-view of the year. Is that all you have for the NWL?
Yeah, I think I wanted to give a couple of shout-outs to Colonel Doom once again.
Colonel Sanders.
I think a good example of what we try to do in the NWL is there's one player, I think we kind of took it upon ourselves to poke a little bit, Johnny Aztec, and he jumped right into it, and he's replying in his TT, that he wants a shot and that he wants to get on the pay-per-view. So that's a good example of, guys jumping into the mix when maybe they would have been left behind if they weren't TTing regularly.
Yeah, man.
I have a question I'm going to post here for the people in the vlog, in the chat room. And
speaking of chat rooms, have anyone ever picked up women from AOL chat rooms circa 1999? Matt, I know you have. Anyone else?
No.
Luke, I do not believe you.
We should have mentioned him.
Luke wasn't on AOL. He was on CompuServe.
Jeez. What was it? Alta Vista?
That was another one.
Oh man.
Uh,
We want to mention that um, if you're listening and you're like stumbled upon this show, if you have the first ever bulletin of the ASL, we want to see it. Send it to us, get it to us. We want to find it. There might be a bounty involved here, so let us know.
I gotta say, I'm a little bit miffed about something, guys. I gotta get something off my chest. I was hearing all this hype about Free Quebec going #1 overall at the IWAR draft. And I gotta say, I don't think that came to fruition. Like Free Quebec kind of fell down the rankings a little bit.
It was a stunner. Experts were aghast.
Aghast.
Because all the experts had them going #1 overall, but I mean,
I did not see Hebrew Hammer going first overall.
I like to surprise people.
That was a great
Hey, listen,
pick.
if I've known anything from being if I learned anything from being a veteran at the draft, is that sometimes you gotta throw surprises out there. It completely screws everybody up, so then you can go in and take what you want. So like sometimes you gotta throw a shocker in there just to get everyone off their game, which was the intention, and it's what I did.
Right.
That was a shocker, but I think it was possibly the best shocker possible.
Speaking of shockers, there's somebody at my work or nearby the parks, and they have not one but
you
two.
you gave her a shocker? Unbelievable.
They have two shocker stickers on their Jeep. Not one but two.
Maybe they really like Dane Cook.
Who needs that many shockers?
I don't know, but my finger still smells funny.
Oh boy.
That's why you need the love glove.
That's right. The love glove, and after you're done, just go clean your hands in the bidet.
Maybe you use that Amazon link that we provided you for all your love glove needs.
That's right.
Yeah, guys, don't forget the holiday season is rapidly approaching. I know you're going to buy gifts for your loved ones. And if my job is not lying to me, which they often do, they're telling me that we're not going to get any more deliveries past November. So if you're going to buy anything in terms of electronics, buy it now. It ain't going to be there in December. They're claiming that we're going to have empty shelves across the board. So
give the gift of toilet paper.
I'll give everyone ramen noodle.
I love ramen noodles.
I do.
No lie.
I think we have Jeff in the house. Is that true? Is Jeff trying to get on here?
I kind of see him, but I don't hear him.
Is Jeff in here? Jeff, you here?
I added him, so I could try to add him
Folks,
again.
the man behind the Grady family trying to join the show, but Aunt Betsy apparently runs his computer, so.
He's on a Commodore 64, so it's all good.
Well, he was cleaning up 8-year-old puke, so actually an 8-year-old puke, not 8-year-old puke. That'd be horrible.
Sounds like something you would do, Matt. It's ridiculous.
What kind of house you running? Aunt Betsy, don't do it.
So technically, I want to look right now. See,
it says that he's on.
It does say there's I actually see him, but he's not moving.
I got booted.
So I see him, but he's not moving.
He said he got booted.
Oh, he got booted. Okay. All right, so we're gonna move on to the IWL.
Yes.
This is IWL cycle number 146. So, Luke, what do you got for us in terms of TT and the IWL?
I don't know. I didn't read it. So.
You never read it.
Man.
No, man. I don't even.
You don't have 5 pages of notes.
Results.
You did 5 pages of results. That's ridiculous.
There's so many.
You can skip all the titles my guys won this cycle. How's that?
Well,
that shouldn't be hard.
Ugh.
Get past 0.
Oof.
All right. So obviously, if you haven't heard, King of Pro Wrestling results were covered on a previous show, so we'll not review those at this time. However, we will first we'll talk about the Bad Street USA Stable Championship. Mid-Atlantic Wrecking Crew were in the lead. Did we talk about that at all?
Yeah. So they are the number 1 slots, and they actually fought the number 2 competitor and won. So
they beat the Omega Squadron?
They did.
All right.
They did.
So that's gonna be they would be the inaugural champs if they.
That is
continue
correct.
to win. So then we moved on to Revolution Extreme and Luther Alexander Risky Business. This is your what? Your one.
It's my
sneak attack?
magnum opus, as they say.
That's right.
I do one sneak attack a year, and I just compile it all together here in one great package. Well done on my part, to be honest. I think I did a great job. Some of my favorite things from this is a lot of the Easter eggs that you'll see when you read this sneak attack. You see Large Marge makes an appearance from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. We see another clip was sent in by Parker Lewis. Apparently he can't lose, so that's good. And we also have a piece that was supposed to air on Dateline NBC, but was cut for time. So we get that. So yeah, Chris Hansen is trying to catch a predator. That predator being the chameleon. So and then hilarity and insanity ensues. Tiamat almost commits mass murder. Broke Rogan gets beat up in the gym. Joe Boring gets beat up at a Trader Joe's because only someone as boring as Joe Boring would shop at a Trader Joe's. Matt, you know that firsthand.
Yep.
So it leads up into the pay-per-view, I think, very well. It was supposed to go in for last cycle, but something happened. Apparently I didn't attach the attachments to my email. I don't think that's true, but according to the email, it said I didn't attach it. So I resubmitted it and resent it in for you guys to read. You see Bulk Rogan here on Weekly World News. He's crippled a fan. It's not cool. He's such a jerk. And then we have actually brand new TT that I sent in at the end of my Risky Business sneak attack. So we got a new promo from Luther Alexander talking about the Skywalkers 3 scaffold match with Logan King coming up at the pay-per-view.
Is it true that you only do Risky Business once a year? I think the word is on the street that you only do that once a year.
Once a year.
And it could be any. So we've already had the one for this year.
Yeah.
And then the one for next year, it could happen at any time.
Anytime.
Year before that was the Regulators.
Yeah, that's when Ryan Patrick got stabbed in the eye with a chicken bone. Which preceded the Regulators taking their camper and running over a bunch of strippers at a strip club. You guys remember that one?
Can't forget that.
I think we have Derek Tuttle in the chat.
There he is. The champ is here. The
World
champ
champ.
is here. Champ is here.
Oh, second. All right. Wow.
2 more than I got.
I'm never going to win the world championship.
I want to see Jim Teacher in that write-up. Oh.
So Luther Alexander's TT for this cycle, I ripped off Arn Anderson. Actually, it's a word for word promo that Arn Anderson once did. So thank you, Arn, for that TT. It made it very.
He listens. I can confirm that.
Yeah. So, Luke, what else we got? I see Joe Bourne looking boring as ever on here. What's he doing?
Yeah. He's just being Joe Boring, and that would be winning constantly.
I like the list of people he defeated.
That's actually a great ad. It
Yeah.
shows. So he's beating literally everyone. He beat Neo Dragon twice. He's beaten Punk Rock Mike at least twice. He beat Ali Atari. He beat Adam Cash. He's beaten everyone. Alexander J. Styles, Chameleon.
That jerk.
I would like to point out that the IWL is well represented. Okay, so
I know it's about the IWL World Championship, man. Yeesh.
It might as well. It could be the TTL championship. Hey,
What happened to the TTL?
I don't know. You remember when I stole the MML championship, their commissioner's championship, and merged it with the NWL championship?
Yes, they got mad.
They got mad. They deserved it though.
Yes.
All right, and then next up we had that old guy, the Dream Atari, and he finally brought back Lady Xanadu. He realized that people didn't really care for him unless she was around, so he brought her back.
Did she get a reduction? Looks like she got a reduction here.
I don't know.
She's gonna minimize her top.
Oh,
Yeah.
For FCC violations.
She's a mom now. You know what I'm saying?
Let's see. Classic.
So, but since she's been back, Ali Atari has done well. He's won the summer series. He's in the finals for the best of the best tournament, so he can lose to Joe Boring again. And then,
sorry.
The boring ending.
Yeah. Sabretooth beat him. That's not happening.
Sad.
Sad.
Yeah. He's always the bridesmaid, never the bride. He talks about old Bull Grogan, who also lost, unfortunately. And then talks about Ravishing Wreck Chambers, who called him out. And but the real big deal is that he's still caught up on Alexander J. Styles. That's something that he cannot beat him, unfortunately. So that continues to advance. And then we have the former IWL Heavyweight Champion, Senior Lucha. Some would call him a transitional championship. I don't know.
That's what happens when you don't earn your shots.
That's what happens.
That's right.
When Neo Dragon needs a break, bring in Senior Lucha.
That's right. Just pencil him in to show up, take the belt, and drop the belt. Randy Orton.
He was distraught because Luther burned his dead mother.
That's pretty messed up.
Guys, when this comes out this cycle, you got to read the ending of this Senior Lucha John Satterfield match that I already written. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. I think
what?
I think it goes on. I think it's beyond everything I've ever written ever in the history of the IWA.
That's frightening.
And you wrote the thing about stealing what's her name's panties, remember?
Yes, when we broke into Sasha's house and stole her underwear, and then Luther at the pay-per-view walked out with her underwear on his head. Yes, that really happened.
Well, I was thinking of the other panties, but that's another story.
Oh.
What's his face? Grandmother panties.
Graham underwear?
Scotty Flash?
Scotty Flash.
No, Scotty. He tried to marry Scotty Flash's grandmother for a green card.
There you go. Bloody hell.
So we got next is the Von Schnaps.
Yeah, the Von Snaps.
Ridiculous.
They're still here. I mean, I don't even know. They need to get in a feud, though. That's the biggest problem.
I have it on good authority that a feud's coming.
That's good. Then we have Take a Pencil, or what we like to refer to as Dixon Ticonderoga and that other guy. So we have the UVU champion trying to.
Did he recently lose that belt? He lost that belt, right?
Did you finally lose it?
Finally, yep. He retained it against the challenger, which was Black Fox, but the Money in the Bank winner, Direwolf, cashed in.
Thank God.
So it's long national nightmare's over.
And he, Take a Pencil. Also, didn't you? They did not take. They couldn't defeat the Three Birds. Is that correct?
Three Birds pulled a 516. You kidding me?
Look, man, if
Three Birds cannot be beaten in tag team competition.
Three Birds are the best.
They've beaten Revolution Extremes. They've beaten the Regulators twice. They beat Empire Chaos. They've beaten Take a Pencil. They've beaten the Omega Squadron. They've beaten the Amazing Grace. They've beaten everybody. I don't got no teams left. I'm hoping the Disembowelers comes in and beats them. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, and we have Joe Boring and we have the Three Birds, and then we have other champions. But really, Joe Boring and the Three Birds are just going to be there forever. So
pretty much.
But yeah, so the Take a Pencil, Barry Stevens talking about his comings and goings, and seeing if he's worried about his protege Barry Stevens and him hanging out with Luther Alexander, but he's not worried. He's not worried at all, because he just does what he does. He believes in freedom. That's what he cares about. Again, he needs somebody. He needs to be relevant, Black Arrow Vengeance. He's talking about Nick Bloodtrap, Flashy Jack. Is Flashy Jack are any of these people in the IWL?
Flashy Jack? No.
Blood Trap is.
Bloodtrap is, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I get confused sometimes.
Aren't they in a series though?
Fiction is taking on Flashy Jack in the Best of 7 series.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's why
Fiction got on the board, won this month, 492, 491. 2-1 lead right now by Jack.
And then Rico, and then they're having some issue with steel cut oats. Is that right? Fiction and the rest of Black Arrow. So is Black Arrow Vengeance the stable, right?
Correct.
And it's Nas X, Fiction, Rico, Flash. Okay.
Yeah, so Black Arrow Vengeance is the combined team of Nas X, Rico Flash, and Fiction.
Yes.
That's right. That's right. All right. So next we have the Demolition Crew. They are. I don't know what they're doing. They're talking about chlamydia and also
Vaccines.
Vaccines, because So I don't know. They got their Tdap, which is good, but I'm fairly certain that that's not.
Well, I think next cycle they're probably gonna get a Pap smear anyway, so that's all good. That's good.
Well, they do talk about their history, and I've word rumor mill that they're about to start a big feud. So we'll see who they go after.
That's
good.
cool.
They're good to have. They're good.
No, that's why I chose to retain them in the draft. So they got picked in the draft, and we were able to retain the services of the Demolition Crew, looking for anyone to take down the Three Birds.
Yes.
Bring them in. The Three Birds knock them down. So next we have WH with Brutally Honest Abe, the Mongolian Mauler, Temujin the Terror, and Enric Filmonte doing what they do, which is being really confusing and referencing historical stuff. But yeah, let's see, Backstabber, yeah,
Your boy,
the greatest promo ever.
I love Backstabber. He's my favorite.
He's mad.
He's still...
he might take down the Three Birds single-handedly for the tag team belts.
Well, maybe he'll bring back White Boy and they can make a run.
He is the funnest wrestler in the IWL. So
I appreciate him.
He's frustrated. He's angry, and he's been doing better. Just he's just not on the same planet as the rest of us. And I really do go out of my way to include him. He's in the fatal 5-way at the pay-per-view. He has a pay-per-view appearance here. Doesn't reference it at all. Just doesn't talk about like how he's in this pay-per-view and he can earn a shot at this title. That's probably what he should be talking about. So whatever he's talking about right here, it doesn't make any sense. I hope he listens to the show one day because it's all constructive criticism. I'm trying to help him. He's my project. I'm trying to help him. And it's not going well. I always try. I put him on covers. I do pinups. I try to do everything for this guy. I'm just waiting for the light bulb just to turn on here a little bit. But yeah, he's in the fatal 5-way. That's a spot I can give to a dozen other guys. But I chose to give it to him to try to get him invested into what we're doing here. But yeah, no reference to this at all. So he got beat at the fatal 5-way, by the way. So there's that.
Well, I also he's been here forever though, so there's that. I will point out that Bulk Brogan also doesn't reference that he's in the pay-per-view, or that he even has a title. So
yeah, there's that. There's that. Yes.
And he was on the cover last time, so I mean, he's got all kinds of things to brag about.
And he's happy that he was the league champion 4 times, which I guess is nice. But
it's a huge accomplishment. Huge accomplishment.
He's rid of that kind of thing. It's nice.
Yeah, that's good. Good for him.
Nice, brother.
Good for him. Good for him. Good job.
But
yeah. Oh, there's TT from Tiamat.
Did Tiamat actually throw someone through a window this cycle?
She did it. Well, I mean, I don't know who. Someone threw Johnny Revolution through a window.
Oh my God.
Into a pool.
Oh.
And Vanilla Ice and OJ had to deal with that. The repercussions. Well, not the repercussions, but just what happened. So,
do you think the IWL has the most celebrity appearances by for any league in the IWA.
By far. Especially like old people that like used to be famous but aren't famous anymore, or famous for the wrong reasons. So
Like we recently had an appearance by Emmanuel Lewis Webster.
I mean, we have Tracy Lords. That's
Yeah, we had Todd Bridges for a while. Mike Tyson's here. Tracy Lords is the legitimate actress.
right, but I mean, she's not like, I wouldn't describe her as, famous.
She should be in the next Marvel movie.
Yep.
She's gonna be in the goddamn Power Pack.
No.
Is she really?
No,
No.
but I can wish, I can dream. Power Pack featuring Tracy Lords, along with Rom the Space Knight, because I think that's how far we're going in this Marvel thing. We're going to script the bottom of the barrel here.
Rom was a great series. Come on now.
And I'm pretty sure Rom was DC, and I'm pretty sure that was in. It's not even in their universe.
I read the entire Rom run.
Ridiculous.
That was me.
Like, who is the lowest level? The lowest level, like, Marvel hero?
Swamp Thing.
That's
No,
DC. Swamp Thing is DC.
That's DC.
Oh. Well, no, Man Thing.
Man Thing, yeah, that's pretty
Rip
low.
off the Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
Man Thing.
That's pretty
The
low.
lowest of the low?
Like, for me, it was Guardians of the Galaxy, because when I was reading comic books, they were like a joke. In the late 80s, early 90s, or whatever. I
The
stopped reading.
Micronauts. There you go.
That's an action figure line. That's a Hasbro book. It's different. How about the Punter Fisher? Like, you know how there's. All right, so you know how there's Peter Porker, the Spectacular Spider-Ham? Like, that's a
Yes.
thing. There's other characters. There's Captain America, and there's the Punter Fisher, who's a fish, who's the Punisher.
You could have, I mean, the Great Lakes Avengers are pretty lame.
That's pretty lame.
A lot of weed was smoked at offices.
Yeah. Len Wein and
Hear me out. Hear me out. He's a fish, but he's a Punisher. Hold on. Can he like kill the fish? Oh yeah, everyone.
like.
Would that be a school shooting? Like, no, we can't go there, man.
So since I'm the comic book guy in my family, they always ask me questions, like comic related questions all the time, and I constantly have to remind them that I stopped reading comic books in 1995. I have not read any books. I've read a few books. I've read, Red Sun and a couple other ones, but I haven't been a regular comic book reader since 1995. The last thing I read was like Onslaught, maybe X-Men's Onslaught was the last thing. Maximum Clonage for Spider-Man, that was it. So that's ridiculous. So I'm seeing all these Marvel movies. Is like, I know 90% of them and who they're supposed to be, but I don't know them all. Like, I don't really know who the Eternals are. I thought they were the Inhumans. Inhumans would have been a better movie than the Eternals.
They made the Inhuman show and it failed really bad.
Really, with Black Bolt and all that shit? Ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was unwatchable.
Well, I mean, Black Bolt has a really stupid power, though.
He does. But, Eternals got Salma Hayek in it, so.
I mean, that's worth the price of admission.
Yes, right there.
Sure is.
All right, so speaking of the price of admission, what?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. Keep going.
I was gonna say Darren says that 3D Man is one of the worst comic book characters.
Okay. I can feel you on that one.
Man.
I'm like DC, there's Crazy Quilt, so that's my favorite. Or the 10-Eyed Man. So.
Ugh.
Matt hates DC, by the way.
Sometimes I hate DC.
You hate DC.
I'm not a big fan.
He hates it. I heard he hates it. So, Dixon Kai Condoroga, the other half, and the Grand Prix champion.
Yes.
If you don't understand, the Grand Prix champion is prestigious because it's a 3-match championship still, right? Where you have to win best 2 out of 3.
Best 2 out of 3. So it is the only belt that is almost 100% storyline based. I mean, we use the results obviously, but there's no contest leading into this. Basically, the champion gets to choose his challenger. So that's how that works, and it's a 2 out of 3. What's been happening, because a lot of the times the third match would take place at the pay-per-view, but if there's no third match, we'll go based off the results of the prior 2 matches and kind of work that into the pay-per-view. So yeah, it's decided by 2 out of 3 and it's really hard to win to it. Like it's pretty difficult to beat a guy who is a championship level guy like twice in any series. So those Cram B champions tend to be champions for a while. So it's very prestigious.
How many Triple Crown Commissioners champions have we had so far?
One.
That's one. Who would that be?
I don't know. This Japanese dude. I forget his name.
Was it Grant?
That's racist. All right. Anyway, so
it's only racist if it was actually Japanese.
no, it's not, because you're basing your assumptions on his name.
He carried a Japanese flag to the ring.
That is fallacious.
Raleigh Hatchet?
It's Raleigh Hatchet.
Stagger
Right,
Lee is my favorite
anyway.
wrestler, by the way.
Who?
Stagger 3.
All right.
More promos from Magnum TL. That's what I want.
I miss Magnum TL. All right, anyway. So we're talking about old Dixon Ticonderoga. We got distracted a little bit. So he's being interviewed by Misty Hyatt. He's talking about getting ready for Frankie Sticchino. He does mention Tiamat. Evidently, he's frightened of her for whatever reason.
She's a murderer. That's why.
She's literally most of the allegations are unsubstantiated. I mean, let's see. Shay died in a car wreck. He hit a car.
It's ridiculous.
And what's his name? Johnny Revolution Jr. fell out a window. And who else? Who else is no longer with us?
Poor Samantha Soli's never going to be the same again.
Ricky Ware. Yeah. Well, I mean, that poor girl has been put through the ringer ever since she didn't get married to Neo Dragon. It's been a very downhill spiral for her. So
Tough loss.
But yeah, so Dixon is casting a wide net. He's definitely talking about Omega Squadron, the Three Birds. So he's casting a wide net. He doesn't seem to be fully indoctrinated into Revolution Extreme. He is a member of Revolution Extreme. He's just not fully there. We'll see how that progresses as things go on. But I will say this: the Grand Prix champion often goes on to win Pan American champion. It's for whatever reason, things progress very well. So if you win one commissioner's title in the IWL, there's a pretty good chance you're going to win another. So I don't know why that is, but
it's because you have momentum, and those commissioners champions are basically based on runs. So for you to become a commissioner's championship, you have to go through a process. So you usually have to win an event, which again, something like a tournament, you have to win 3 matches just to get a shot. So you're usually pretty hot when you win these belts, and that's basically how it goes. And so again, if you're hot for an extended period of time, you can end up just winning multiple championships.
All true. It's all true. So yeah, we Raleigh Hatchet. We have the fabulous Three Birds. I'm really glad they brought back Grant Sabrosa.
Yeah, as the administrative advisor.
Yeah, and so they have Rosanna as well.
There's Sarah Smile.
Sarah Smile.
Sarah Smile.
All right, very well. Let's see. Alexander J. Styles. Talking about his match. It's actually a glimpse of his match with Joe Boring, and we see that it wasn't the fact that Joe Boring is completely unbeatable, but also the fact that Tiamat arrived, or someone arrived, to end his run. So unfortunately for Alexander J. Styles.
I do have an appreciation for Styles using Dr. George Ahorian here in this write-up here. So thank you for using the tools that are provided to you.
Very true. We have Logan Kane. He's being interviewed by Missy Hyatt after his unfortunate incident with Luther Alexander. He's talking about the Grand Canyon. I don't know what he's referring to. You should read it and find out. And he seems pretty angry. He seems pretty committed. We talked about Omega Squadron, Chameleon, a little frustrated, but he is ready to take on Revolution Extreme. He had an early exit from the King of Pro Wrestling tournament, and he did get he and Steel Cutouts got kicked out of MSG, but the American Patriot and Christian Warrior are in the finals along with the Amazing Graces. So that will be an interesting final. And that is what the Graces talk about. Evidently, the Graces were trained by Christian Warrior. Is that right? Yeah. It is. And so American Patriot and his hatred of millennials is kind of creating some friction. Doesn't really appreciate the Graces' attitude. However, the Christian Warrior being who he is.
The Graces are the IWL version of the Young Bucks. That's who I see. That's serious. That's what I see. I see Young Bucks for them.
All right, anyway. And then Steel Cutouts, who he just continues to do well. Speaking of George Zaharian, he is offering him some enhancement, some supplements, and Steel Cutouts turns down his offer. The good doctor is offering. And evidently, Zaharian is doing intravenous drugs in this TT, which I was not aware of until I read the line right there. So, Dr. Zaharian may or may not be an intravenous drug user. So,
and dealer.
Yeah, that took
may or may not went to prison for that.
That took a turn. But yeah, the regulators are back.
I'm still waiting for the George Zaharian dark side of the ring, by the way.
It's gonna have Steel Cutouts in it. The regulators are back. They've been gone. How long have the regulators been gone?
It hasn't been long, but it feels like it's forever. If that makes any sense.
Well, the regulators are a big part of the IWL.
They are the fabric of the IWL.
I would say them and Omega Squadron, as far as like people that consistently make up people that are always in the mix for titles and always doing something. I would say that them, but the regulators especially. Like I know when Neo Dragon was on his run, I faced the regulators like half a dozen times on the way up and when I had whatever title I had. So they're constantly in the mix, and that's just singles. So I'm not even talking about tag, and they're always top on, or always challenging it as a tag team or as a 6-man. So it's really good to see them back.
I'll say it once, and I'll say it 1,000 times. A focused Ryan Patrick is a dangerous, dangerous man.
Correct statement. So it's just the regulators, not the Empire is no longer there, right?
Yeah, they're
I think in the Graveyard League.
Yeah, they'll be back. They always come back.
You mean they're taking a break? There's no Graveyard League. The Disembowelers.
Don't break the lore, Matt.
Kayfabe. Kayfabe. So also we have Disembowelers who have yet to make a splash so far. So hopefully they'll do it.
I think they underestimated the competition here in the IWL a little bit, to be honest.
I think they may have. But I mean, you think that if they knew that the UVU champion was here, they would. Whatever. Anyway, and finally, the man of the hour, Firebird John Satterfield. He puts a nice little period at the end of TT this month, talking to Senior Lucha about the IWL Championship. And we know what happened there. So I'd like to congratulate John Satterfield on his championship win, defeating Senior Lucha and beginning the Satterfield era, that we'll call it. But good on him.
So, like, I'm curious because he's always written TT about how he wants to challenge for this championship and how he should go after this championship. Well, now I want to see him TT about being the champion and how that, like, what's that going to look like for them, for him, just to see how he writes. Like, now you won the belt, you're the champ. Now what? You know. Now let's see what you can do with that championship belt, because now you're the guy. You're top dog, top guy, number one guy in the league, the whole nine. Now it's up to you to really, really kick it into high gear. So I look forward to see what he's going to do.
I'm excited about that. But
I'm so stoked because, the hell was seeing Lucha.
Yeah, I mean, that obviously, like Ryan Patrick said, he got brought in, given a title shot. People like that, they get their just desserts, and that's what Senior Lucha got.
Satterfield's going to have a big time challenger on Logan Kane. So
that is true. That will be interesting to see. Yeah. I heard also that if you don't win your first title defense, you were never really champion. That's what I heard. So that's. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it is
IWL heavyweight champion.
Oh. So what? Logan Kane will be taking on Satterfield, and then who is taking on?
So here's the card for Starrcade as of right now, as we stand right now. It's going to be in the main event for the World Heavyweight Championship. Logan Kane taking on John Satterfield, the champion. For the Pan American Championship, we have a newly crowned champion, Alexander J. Styles. He will be taking on Steel Cut Oates, and a main event anywhere on the planets. We have the Three Birds taking on Omega Squadron, and another fantastic main event. And those are the matches that we have so far. More matches will be added shortly. I got a couple in my pocket. Some of them I can't reveal until after the pay-per-view write-ups come out. So it's gonna you're gonna have a sense of clarity here once the pay-per-view.
It'll be exciting.
Oh, it's gonna be. It's so insane. It's already. I have not received one write-up yet. I already know it's gonna be insane. Please get those to me as soon as possible.
No, man, we're not doing that. I don't feel comfortable doing that. I like to imagine you furiously trying to put together a pay-per-view right before deadline.
5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
No.
That sounds awful.
No.
That's it for the IWL as far as I know. But I will say this pay-per-view happened at Madison Square Garden. So it's much improved over the Walmart of Bucksnort, Tennessee.
and Starrcade's going to be in Vegas, so.
Oh, it's going to be in Vegas.
Yeah. So it's going to be
Caesar's Palace.
Caesar's parking lot. No. No, it's going to be at the Raider Stadium.
Oh, that's a huge stadium.
Yeah, it is. Well, you have Logan Kane and John Satterfield on top. They're going to sell it out.
Obviously.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Obviously. That's like a hands down. I mean, I get why we had Senior. So what I want to know is what's going to happen with Senior Lucha and his war on Revolution Extreme. It's a good question.
Well, about that, you got to read the write-up. You got to read the write-up.
Because now I will say this: the worst thing about having a title is that you don't get to choose your opponent. You know what I'm saying? So
you gotta take all comers. You gotta take the number one internationally recognized number one contender.
Unless you have someone injure your opponent, and then you get to pick them. But that only happens every once in a while.
That's never happened before.
I mean, it literally just happened.
It did. It's only happened once.
But that's what happens. That's what happens when you mess with Revolution Extreme.
Unbelievable. All right, so what do we got next? We got the Battle Royal League, number 574. And Matt, what do you got for us in terms of TT and the BRL?
Well, let me get my notebook here with my multi-pages of recap. Well, there's a lot going on in the BRL, and as always, we're trying to keep all the action going. And much like the NWL, where we have Futurescape in between the pay-per-views, Clash Champions, we have main event in between the pay-per-views for the various BRL shows. Now, the next show coming up is Battlecade, and main event that we just have printed in this current issue determined which people will challenge for which titles. So some of the promos can play off of that as you guys go forward. But we have a loaded lineup for Battlecade 16, and really exciting. So let's talk about the promos. Well, we'll lead off with Jax McAllister. The best part of this, most challenging part of this recap is me reading my own writing.
Oh, there you go.
Well, he's a long feud with Sheldon Schrute, and they've been going back and forth all year long. And he's actually getting a little bit of respect for Sheldon because Sheldon's kept pace with him. There was the whole imprisonment angle part of the storyline.
Like Ken Patera?
Yes. And they have I think a mutual respect is building, but it's a heated rivalry is getting worse and worse. So I will say this. He is also mixed up with Double R Rob Ratliff and Hate Clown. We'll get into more of those in a bit. But Jax McAllister has had one of the tough luck years. And he, score-wise, has hit 496 a number of times, still no titles. So it's just tough combination of the league you're in and some bad luck. Gina Colada talks about her sort of relationship with Chubby Love, who's been pursuing her, but she's getting ready to defend the title against Barb Dwyer, who won the elimination match for the women. Monster Truck Tanaka has set a challenge to the White Claw Outlaws, who he's been attacking repeatedly with his love glove, and he wants a six-man match with himself and the Thugs for Hire, Rodney Diarmond and Brom O'Baron against the White Claw Outlaws and any partner they show up with. So who will be their mystery partners? That's what we want to know. Blood Money talks about unfinished business. There's some really harsh words by Adam Cash towards Duke Nukem. And of course, Quick Kill Incorporated. So there's some heat getting hotter over there with those guys. We'll see with the Quick Kill Incorporated seems to really want a piece of Blood Money, which they have a feud that kind of stretches back in some ways to the UNL days. So that's going back a few years. Book Club, which is now currently LePage Turner and Sheldon Schrute with the part-time fill-in member Monster Truck Tanaka, who's being paid to fill in the spot, which is usually Harlem Hamilton's, but again, he's in jail, and we haven't heard from him since he got taken away by the cops. Just as a general rule, LePage Turner pisses everybody off anyways, but he does a new thing called the alternate ending, where he uses your finisher against you as a way to, really tick off the competition. And I also have Book Club here pushing the 501 Ways to Win, of course, by LePage Turner. 501 Ways to Win is a classic book every kid should have instead of candy. I do want to mention that I have, as of today, been diagnosed with COVID, so I'm a little under the weather. So if I sound a little funky, that's just more than usual. Mechanico cuts a promo on Hawaiian Heartthrob, their multi-year, multi-league feud, hopefully coming to an end in the BRL at Battlecade. They want a special match. What type will it be? We'll see. But that blood feud needs to come to an end. Ghostly Shadows is back.
About time.
What's that?
Is it about time? And,
Yeah,
and I want to bring up that I desperately want him in the IWL, and I never ever get him, and that makes me sad.
Yeah, well, he wants a piece of Joey Sultan Boca, one of many people who do. And he's back. So great to see him coming back. Want to see more from Ghostly Shadows. And even more fun, Gato is back with El Barbero with a pumpkin-themed cartoon. As we all know, Alex loves cartoons.
And a little thing on Ghostly Shadows, he taught me how to TT.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Because he's the person that I emulated in the NWL.
Oh, there it is. There it is, fans. You heard it here first. Luther Alexander's the fault of Ghostly Shadows.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's like a crime against humanity.
We have Dungeon Master Sheldon Shroot in his basement painting little miniatures as various members of the NWL roster who might be part of the draft class, warning Jack McAllister and Hate Clown to watch their step. I think Sheldon Shroot's about to be the verge of something big. Then we had to apologize for Barb Dwyer's promo where she lit on fire Candy Cane, Jane Red, Ripley Strode, and Effie O'Shaughnessy because Barb Dwyer is essentially the Michael Myers of the league in a dress. Logan Kane, his promo happened during the main event, the Elimination Chamber, where Adam Cash and Logan Kane, who are feuding, burst out of the cage and fought into the stands. And all I can say legally is that Adam Cash went to use a popcorn machine as a weapon against Logan Kane, and it got dropped on a fan. So BRL legal attorneys are getting involved in this. But that's what happens. The Olympians call out Jack Ferdinand, and that little rivalry between them and Dynasty is kind of getting stronger. But they're also, letting Love Connection know that they shouldn't make little jokes at their expense. They'll pay for it. And Aries calls out Hate Clowns. Hate Clowns getting a lot of traction.
Sure is.
Sizzling Sherry Summers, one of the regional champions this month. She speaks for Summer Nights, the little stable of women wrestlers. And they're all taking aim at Gina Colada. They all want a piece of that title. Look for them to be in the next qualification match. And they have a problem with Ripley Strode, so they're going to be beefing it up. Then my favorite attack of the month goes to the Mannequins. And what makes their attack so much fun? They attack Zeus and Hercules in the tag match. After a victory, they jump them, start beating them up. They, scurry out of the ring. They get followed. And when the Olympians go into a room, they find a room with dozens of mannequins in the room, and they try to find the real mannequins, and they keep getting attacked, and the lights go out. So they beat up one particular mannequin, think they found the right one, and it actually was a hapless BRL reporter. So we'll update that situation soon enough.
My favorite film is the film Mannequin, by the way.
Is it really?
With Kim
Not
Cattrall.
Mannequin 2?
Not Mannequin 2, Electric Boogaloo, no.
All right. Flashy Jack Ferdinand is still wearing his mask as his face heals from the burns. He's, like I said, he's up 2-1 on Fiction in their series. Talking about Dynasty growing, even though they lost some members to other leagues. Just in general, Flashy Jack's having a really strong year. And, of course, he was the champion with a 501. Sadly, did not bring home the bacon, but, still great to see. Let's see, Thugs for Hire talking about the White Claw Outlaws, and Brahmo Baron, who is deaf, sign language translates that he's up in his series against Derek. But I will update both these series. It's 2 hardcore Iron Man series by both Brahm and Rodney against Derek and Mike from the White Claw Outlaws, and that is, I believe, right now tied 1-1 with Brahm and Derek, and Mike is up 2-0 on Rodney. So that's going to get more intense. Suburban Hill Savages are playing poker around a table, and Punk Rock Mike comes in late, and they talk about the fact that they have so many belts. They have the Global Championship, where Punk Rock Mike will defend against Sabretooth at Battlecade. Age 26 and Punk Rock Mike will defend the tag belts at Battlecade. So it's like they're all over this place. Let me talk about that match. Actually, I'm thinking of it. I'll just cover this pay-per-view. So we have, oh boy, East-West Connection. Jane Red and Matthew Van Slaughter will challenge the tag champions, Agent 26 and Punk Rock Mike. And of course, the Urban Hill Savages, 26, PRM, and Patrick O'Malley will defend against the Olympians, Zeus, Aries, and Hercules. We have a Cruiserweight Championship match where Love Burger will be challenged by Flashy Jack Ferdinand, so watch for that. Never Full Joey Salt and Boca will defend against Double R Rob Ratliff, so that's going to get heated up. And of course, Bob Dwyer challenges Gina Colada. We also have a Steel Cage I Quit match between Late Night Logan Kane and Hot Stuff Adam Cash, and what we're calling the Draft Class Rumble, where 4 of the BRL's draft picks that are actually in the league by that time, or maybe not, we'll see about getting the talent in, making them available, they will be in the BRL. Getting back to promos. Let's see here. Flash Jack. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So Herman Savages. Okay, so Herman Savages make an interesting point because Mike kind of says to this is taped before the main event show, but that Mike Sebastian was one of the guys in the Elimination Chamber who could possibly win that match and challenge the championship, and that they say in a mutual respect that hey, either way it would stay in the stable. But lots going on. So Ruben Hill Savage is covering a lot of gold right now, and I should mention that Punk Rock Mike has now had the longest reign ever for a global champion at 20 cycles. So there's that.
God damn.
Yes. Nasty Critter Brian Rotten, who won the Johnny B Cup a couple years back. He is currently the leader in the BRL's Wrestler of the Year standings. Is asking for a chance to be in the best of the best tournament. He's been asking for a long time, and I don't want to give away any Christmas surprise, but Santa might be good to him this year. Then we have a promo from a mysterious woman in darkness with a crystal ball referring to Barbed Wire and how she's going to get hers. So we'll see what happens. We have a bunch of promos from Catfish Rob's crew. No cartoons, but we always hope for a cartoon from Catfish Rob. Double R Rob Ratliff walks around, smashes Hate Clown with a guitar, and then he smashes Jax McAllister over the head with the guitar when he checks on Hate Clown. So it's like one of those comedy bits. Betty Red claims she'll be a 2-time world champion when she beats Barbed Wire. And then we have a shocker as Catfish Rob takes off his mask to reveal himself to be no one other than Double R Rob Ratliff. All this time we've been lied to. This whole time.
I feel betrayed.
I do too. Let's see here. We have Black Hour Vengeance, where Truth, Letitia, and Roxy go on a hunt for Gina Colada and Betty Red, and they beat up Gina Colada, they beat up AF O'Shaughnessy, they beat up Betty Red, because that's sending a message, folks, and that's how it is these days. Hawaiian Heartthrob vows to get back at Mechanico, who cost him a chance at the North American Championship. The Litigators are still causing problems, and they basically insulted everybody they were in that 6-man qualifying match with. So now it's a matter of they just dispatched Seth Adams Lee pretty quickly. Who will be next for these guys? Who will Litigators go against next? Never Full Joey Salton Boca talks about excited to be in a taco eating contest, but then he gets jumped from behind by Double R Rob Ratliff, who hits him with a, you guessed it, guitar. White Claw Outlaws have a bitter, angry promo at Monster Truck Tanaka, who they're less angry about him attacking them and more angry he's wasted over $700 on White Claws attacking them with those beverages. So
White Claws, the 2021 version of Zima.
Here it is. So they're looking to get even with those guys. We have promos by Leather Brigade, and we have Sax Gotha going after Fat Joey. We have Lady Kung Fu. Sax Gotha claims that Joey only got that title because he kissed the Nameless One's fat pasty behind.
Did he?
I will tell you, it is pasty, but it's not fat. So he says he's scared to step in the ring with him. Now, you'll see a recurring theme here. Tommy Lindell also goes after Fat Joey, saying he's a liar and that it was a one-time fluke win. Dark Phoenix FS kind of talks about veterans not getting respected. And we have Lady Kung Fu claiming there's a conspiracy of suspicious envelopes passing backstage. Some 3 counts are faster than others. And Duke Nukem goes after Big Joey again, demanding a North American title shot. And I'll say what I always say. Do your promos, get when you guys qualify. Although I should kind of clarify, when it comes to the pay-per-views, and we do qualifier matches, we try to get everyone involved. So what I often do is try to put whatever guy I think is kind of either due for a chance to be in a championship match, or, you're kind of riding with. So if you manage multiple wrestlers in the BRL, I'm not going to put all 3 of your guys in a qualifier. I might put one, but I'm not trying to have all your guys in every single qualifier match. So I'm trying to spread the love around. So it's up to you guys to do the work, get recognized, get put in the show, get that qualifier match, like double R Rob Ratliff. He was in the North American qualifier. He won the match. He gets the shot. Flashy Jack Ferdinand. He was in the qualifier. He won the match. He gets a shot. Sabretooth, the same thing. So really, it's about earning the shot. I will say this though. I think I skipped over one promo. Did I? No, I didn't. All right, I'll get there. Never mind. I'll get back to it in a second. So I would just say, as far as feuds go, that was like 5 wrestlers, and 3 of them went after the same guy. So I would say either mixed up. There's a lot of people in the BRL, so I'd like to see more of call out different wrestlers. Have some more feuds, because a couple years back we fell into a trap in the BRL where we had like monster stables, and it was like you had these giant kind of not really. They were heated, but they weren't like any one rivalry. Like the only when DOD was going against SHS, like Punk Rock Mike and Ghostly Shadows were kind of like head to head a lot. But the rest of the stables are kind of like just going through the motions. So, when I watched that biography the other day about Stone Cold, and he talked about his feud with The Rock and how it kind of was like their big feud was like a big moment, was working off each other. Same thing, give us a feud that really is worth watching. Don't all go after the same person. Mix it up a bit. So having said that, moving on to Seth Adams Lee and his bodyguard Wisp, who, like I said, is the latest IWA King of the Ring. Talks about, earning money in the lumberjack match. He makes fun of Sabretooth. He talks about how he was doing in the best of the best. So Seth, really good promos, really good work from Seth. And one of these things, in the NWL, like Larry Horowitz, his promos have really grown, gotten better, deeper, more colorful, if you will. We like to see that. So good work by Seth, SAL there. Action Consistency Enterprises, Ace. We have a promo from, oh no, it's Hate Clown. I'm sorry. Hate Clown with some witches. So there you go. Ghoulish friends. Hate Clown, I gotta say, has a lot of people chasing after him, but there's a rumor running rampant that Hate Clown might be bound for a new league. So there's a rumor out there.
That can't
call
be
the
true.
Hotline. Mean Gene will talk to you about it.
That can't be true.
We have Assassin Beast Devasto calling out Blood Money's Fatty the Butcher, who ripped up one of his shirts and talking about the closure over coming to beating him. That's getting more heated. We have a promo from the Holy Family, and they keep hinting at some roster change, namely someone who was apparently banned from the IWA for a while, a former Diamond Federation champion who shan't be named, that could possibly be coming to the BRL. So who's going out, who's coming in, stay tuned. The Holy Family is going to be mixing it up, and they're really starting to hit a stride. So I'm looking forward to see what they do with that. Is Sabretooth the one to defeat Punk Rock Mike and end his reign? Is he going to do it? I'd like to see that happen. We have a very big announcement from lovely Lucy Lethal, who stands in front of Saskatchewan Sasquatch, the zombie hunter Matthew Porter, and Chief Bull Gray Fox, where she comes out and announces the news that she is now the leader of the Disciples of Doom. It used to be Ghostly Shadows, but he's kind of doing his own thing now, which is fine, because he's kind of taking an Undertaker role, kind of runs by himself. He's just dangerous. I missed a promo earlier, so I'm going to get back to it. I don't know how I missed it, but let me get back to it. Here it is. All right. So finally, this promo is an unsigned promo, but I think we know who it's from. It says, "Hell yeah, it's my yard." And I always talk about, like Alex was earlier, when we're giving advice for promos, we're talking, when we're saying things, we're trying to get people to be a little more accurate with their promos. Being vague and ambiguous doesn't help us, think about booking. Like, for example, it says here, everyone wants to go to heaven, no one wants to die, and no one shows respect, and they won't. It's like these kind of like they don't respect history. Along came the woke generation. It sounds like the angry old man yells at the clouds from The Simpsons. And I want to see the Leatherman that I grew up with, quite literally. I want to see the Leatherman who rode a motorcycle, who started epic feuds, and ran with the ball. That's what I want to see. I want to see that Leatherman. I don't want to see angry about my yard Leatherman. I want to see Leatherman who comes and has a good feud. So there's lots of talent in the league now. You got a bunch of different wrestlers, but I want to see the Leatherman. That's always my.
Here's the thing: do you want to see Clint Eastwood like whine, or you want to see him kick ass? I want to see him kick ass.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So I'd like to see the Leatherman have another kick-ass feud. I mean, Leatherman never really settled things with Ghostly Shadows.
And they feuded for what, 10 years? It feels like.
Yeah, but it's true. It's just there's the different ways to, go about things. And here's what I always think about: if I cut a promo, and I don't really name anyone in particular, then no one's gonna think that's about them.
Yeah.
If I cut a promo and I don't really call anybody out, no one's gonna know it. Like for instance, let's say I want to really feud with Seth Adams Lee. Well, go after Seth Adams Lee. He's writing a promo. He's picking fights with people. He'll respond to litigators. They've caused a lot of problems.
Just punch him right in the face.
Right. You got Hercules in there. Like I look at like the IWL. They got Rex Chambers. Find somebody who's looking for something to do. Give them something to do. Beat them up. Break a guitar over their head, or kick them in the nuts. Or do both. So I just want to make sure everyone knows. When you do a promo, a lot of people are in the league, and it's like every 3 weeks you got a chance to shine. So every 3 weeks, let's see something good. Let's see something new. Make us a challenge. Like the guys from Thugs for Hire, they went right out and challenged the IWAR World Tag Team Champions to 2 hardcore Iron Man series, knowing that those guys are the World Tag Champs, and knowing they're not going to get a tag title shot, but they can still feud with them. And if it worked out, they get the shot. That's great. But I just want to make sure everyone knows, we want to see promos that really kind of move the needle and move things directionally. Let me see here. I think that's pretty much all the BRL stuff. I think I can save some of the IWA trivia is coming soon, so you guys will be able to get a real big treat next time, hopefully.
Yeah, man. I dig that. Fantastic. So, guys, I think we're gonna. It's getting late. It's 1:16 in the a.m. So, if you guys don't have any other questions, we're gonna end this stream. I may have a surprise for you coming up shortly, though. We'll see about that. We'll see how that goes. All right. Last call for any questions. Last call. I gotta wait because there's like an 80-second delay. So
that's all right. Lots of good involvement. Thanks for all the sponsors, guys. Really appreciate the feedback. And also, if you're not listening live, post in the comments below. Post in the comments below and say hey, here's who I think the most hated wrestler should be or most popular wrestler should be. We appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, man.
Who farted? Probably me.
Oh, you're the one with the gastrointestinal problem. So.
Yeah, thanks, COVID.
Yeah. Well,
it's involuntary at this point.
All right, guys. So we are officially out of time. So for Matt Riley, for Luke Martin, for Aaron, I'm Alex G. Have a good night.